Bitcoin's about to crash, and let me explain why. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching this video. My name is DaVinci Jeremy. I'm in the pipe 5x5 here in Dubai. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Man, you know what? This looks very interesting. I'm starting to see cracks with the financial system. I've talked about it before when we saw earlier this month the repo market started to collapse. And I showed you that this is a major issue, which always results in some major collapse with Bitcoin or the regular stock market. And really, it has to be done. Why? Because these guys, right, they need to get this free bailout money, because that's what it is, the repo market. When they actually provide liquidity at the repo market, it's free money for the banks. And they need to hide that. They need to, just like the Epstein files, they need to hide that. You don't want to look there, right? It's COVID, right? Right. So with that said, right, you could expect some sort of event, something big, right? So they can hide the fact that we're getting some free printed money, right? And with that said, right, I believe Bitcoin is going to collapse heavily. Yeah, and it's going to take a bit. It's going to take a bit because they ran a test with the Kramer and the guy with the 80,000 Bitcoin. They sold it. He sold it off, and what did we get? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. We got a whole movement, massive movement down. Right? Maybe a couple thousand. Hey, I need to disturb you for a second because I'm going to be doing a course on how to buy Bitcoin, how to use Bitcoin, how to use a wallet, how to use a hardware wallet, how to basically store Bitcoin for the long term. As we all know, that it's going to be the money. You need to have this. Very happy to help you guys. Right? Let's see here. Let's do a percentage move. Let's see what percentage move was at. Price range. So they hit it with everything they got. And the percentage move down was 3.15%. That's all they got. That was a massive fireball. They brought out everything. They brought out Kramer, right? I'm sure it's this. Who comes out? Yeah. You know what? I've had these Bitcoins forever. And I need some cash now. So let me just take it and sell it. Right after Kramer said, I'm buying Bitcoin. No sense. So I see that this was a test to see what they would get. And yeah, it didn't get them much. So although I don't think the crash is probably coming next week, look out. They're planning something big. And it's not a guarantee, of course, right? Because we have Michael Saylor and all the other corporations that are, buying Bitcoin, and they're going to fight against whoever is trying to crash the market. And you have to think about it, right? If you are a bank who gets to print money, right? Or a Rothschild that gets to print money, right? Your objective in life right now is to slow down Bitcoin or try to come up with a way to stop it. Right? Wouldn't that be the logical thing for you to do? Right? If you had access to printing money? Tell me. Huh? What? What's that? Yes? Oh, yeah. So, obviously, you're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Well, Bitcoin has no marketing department. Who's the marketing department for Bitcoin? Price. And since Price is the only marketing department for Bitcoin, obviously, all you have to do is attack the price. So, with that said, something's coming down. I can feel it in the charts, right? That something is going to bring down Bitcoin. Now, it's not going to bring it down forever. I mean, most people would be like,
Bitcoin is going to zero.
No, it's not going to zero, people. It's not going to zero. But there will be some massive volatility, and actually people are going to get liquidated, especially in the trades and so forth. It is what it is. we've gone through our history of if you go through the history of Bitcoin, there's been many takedowns of major exchanges. Started with MT Gox. That was a planned takedown almost. You could say, well, no, that was negligence on his part. Yeah, there was a lot of negligence on his part. But if you were there back then in 2014, and you saw how much money they were losing, not just from the leaking faucet that was happening, right? But also the government attacking MT Gox at 8 million here, 10 million there. These are losses that they took directly from government. Yeah, they were sinking ship from all sides. They were being attacked from all sides. So, and then they came up with what's it called, FTX, which was a planned takedown. Of course, you could look into that. You could see that the Democrats funded it, right? Used it to raise money for themselves, and took it down to blame crypto. It's planned. It's all planned. It's the big scam of our financial system. And if you don't believe that, just show me the Epstein list. Oh, that's right, you can. Oh boy. You know our whole system is a big fraud, right? When you see that, oh, you still talk about Epstein? Forget about that list of people who are on that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Right? We're all on the list. You know that. Oh, damn. Okay. Moving on. Let's just take a look at Solana. Solana's broken down from its upward trend here. You can see that we've drawn parallel trend lines here, pretty much parallel trend lines, and it wants to go a lot higher. I'm telling you, right? It's just breaking a key level of a 188 ish area is just trading around that, trying to figure out whether it wants to break down further all the way back down to 153, which I don't think it's going to do. On the 4 hour here, we're getting closer to the 200 period moving average. The worst case scenario is that we go sideways here, and then the 200 period moving average catches up before we actually break higher to all the way up to 220 level, which is the next parking garage area. And then we're gonna see it hit there. We're gonna see it hit probably next month. Okay, looking at Ethereum. Wow, Ethereum. I was surprised that it created a new high and then it came back down. Looks like it probably might come back to the 38.2. There's key levels there. So even though, it just kind of like just screwed everybody here, especially if you were like taking a short trade here, it looked really nice. But then it created a nice inverse head and shoulders up to the target here. And then boom, there it is. It is what it is, right? Ethereum did what it did, and nothing you can do about it. If you were in a short trade, you had to walk away and watch it come back down again. Of course, that's just a trader's life, right? You can't be 100% on any particular trade. Okay, let's take a look at the dominance. The dominance says, still dominating on Bitcoin. Still dominating. Look at this trend line I drew. Remember when I drew this trend line? I just copied this, moved it down here, right? Because I knew it was going to probably bounce on that level. And look, magic. Isn't it crazy? That's all I did, right? I did that. Like if we zoom out, I'm going to go to 2 weeks here, and I did that for all these, right? All these yellow lines here, upward trend, because I knew it was in an upward trend. And just, it's not going to go straight up. Nothing goes up in a straight line, right? But I knew it was going to follow this upward trend trajectory. And look at that. Boom. It's been following it ever since I've been tracking for 3-4 years now. I've been tracking this dominance, and look at that. Like clockwork. Absolute clockwork. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So, okay, let's see. Did they close the gap yesterday? I guess you could say they closed the gap. Yes, they closed that little gap there, that little gappy gap, right? And there you go. there's still a gap below the, let's see here, it's below the $115,000 dollar mark. And could it close it? Probably. It's probably going to close it just before we take off again. If we're going to take off, there's going to be a big collapse before we decide to take off and then go, right? That's the most likely scenario. Can it take off without closing the gap? Yes, but odds are in the summertime. Hey, I need to disturb you for a second because I'm going to be doing a course on how to buy Bitcoin, how to use Bitcoin, how to use a wallet, how to use a hardware wallet, how to basically store Bitcoin for the long term. Because we all know that it's going to be the money. You need to have this. Very happy to help you guys. I don't see this happening. Honestly, I don't see this gap not closing, but you can see that there's a lot of buyers down there at the 115, 114-ish area. So it's going to be a difficult process for the powers that be to actually close this gap, but I'm confident they'll make it happen. And once that does happen, I think you should definitely have some buy orders down here and extend your what's it called? Your longs. Now, if you have any longs in Bitcoin, because I think a crash is coming, make sure you take a stop loss somewhere inside the 105-ish area where there's lots of liquidity here, lots of buying here. If it comes down to the 105, I think you should walk away from your trades because there could be a massive dump ahead should something massive happen. Like, I mean, if the presidents get shot and stuff like that, because hey, it's not out of the question, right? There's a lot of people, right, in the government and outside the government who've said, right, publicly that they want to kill the president. You're like, what? Yeah. Oh, what do you think 8647 means, right? I mean, come on. This is what the former, FBI head directors wrote on a beach. You think we're stupid, right? 86 means kill. 47 is the 47th president. Duh. like, and he's like, I didn't know that's what it meant. Shut up. You're head of the FBI. So, with that said, right, there's a lot of craziness, right, that could happen in the next little while. So be prepared. Make sure that you do not get wiped out because of it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.